Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so we're going to do a little peek at today's topic for the second, and we'll also do one for the third within this video. So we're going to do two dates. All right, so also I am having a technician come over to take a look at my internet. You guys know I've just moved, and so I think things have been bumpy. It might be on my end. I'm not 100% sure, but I've got somebody coming out to check on that. So just so you guys know, if you've experienced some wobbles and stuff here and there, and I know you guys have during the lives, hopefully if it's my issue, it'll be cleared up by tomorrow. So here's hoping. Thanks for bearing with me as we get a whole new scenario. So the message for the 2nd of October is protection. Invoke your familiar or a charm to guard you as you work. Actually, I love this. It's the cutest cat ever. It just looks like such an adorable little thing. So somebody might really be very connected to animals. This could be somebody who leans towards shamanism. This could be somebody that has like a good luck charm of sorts. But it definitely feels as if I would argue that a character will start to notice, if their pet comes up to them to like, they're so intuitive. And pets are so gentle. Like they come up and kind of like put their paw on you to tell you that it's going to be okay. I'm wondering if a character is going to like notice a little bit more of that coming toward them right now. And it might be just what they need just to stay grounded or something. This could also be somebody who has, like I'm picturing somebody who's got something that was like a family heirloom and it's like that their eyes go toward it in their house and it's like, oh, that's so nice. I feel like my, whatever, like my ancestor is around me right now. I'm also picturing that like catchphrases that somebody in a character's life used to say might pop up and it's like, oh, that's so nice. That stranger just said something that my grandfather used to say and it just lets me know that they're with me. There's a nice energy of being protected. I don't know if somebody's going to be traveling, but we have the Chariot and we have this feminine who's out there on the road. It does say, be mindful of like tire issues, traveling, especially at night, in more like wide open spaces. There may be a need to like, keep your car in good repair, do some checks. But this also says that if a character is moving forward in life, it says that they are being protected on this journey forward. But of course, do the due diligence and make sure that the car is, gassed up and that there's, a spare tire and such. Okay, we have a Two of Cups. The message for the 2nd might be saying we have a character going into surprising territory. This could be possibly a divine feminine who's either going to meet or going to encounter or going to interact with a Two of Cups, with somebody really important to her, some very important partnership. And this might be something that could be a little stressful. Maybe that's why we have like this energy of protection around her. I almost feel like, look, just because it's a Chariot and we see a car doesn't mean somebody's physically going anywhere. Forward motion in life is, the same thing. Like just moving forward at all can be the same energy. You don't have to get in a car to go somewhere. We do have another mode of transportation that we have an Action of Wands. Either on October the 2nd, she's going to wind up gravitating towards somebody and there's going to be a really important conversation between herself and another person that is near and dear to her. They could be someone who wants to hop on their motorcycle and travel to get to her. Both people could be suddenly desiring to not only talk, but to like talk face to face, nose to nose. They may be making plans. This could be two people are making plans to come into union. Let me go back over to the energy of protection. Why is it that we need some energy of support right now? Messenger of Cups, because this could be a difficult conversation. There could be hashing out some things from the past. There could be apologies that need to be made. And that can be, I'm picturing somebody who's like flushing, and I know I do this. If I get really nervous, I will flush and like my ears kind of close off and it's like it almost sounds like I'm underwater or something. I can just be like blank and like stressed when I have like that rush. I'm an exceptionally awkward person. So, and actually naturally very introverted. So, like I think anybody out there who's like introverted probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like the that flood of, nervous energy that sometimes where it's like, okay, I'm on overload with, things coming at me, and there's so much to process, and there's emotion, or there's just discomfort, that can really like, hit you. And it just says that I think a character, if she, we'll say she, because we start out with possibly a Cancerian feminine, is hearing from somebody very important to her, a masculine, who is either saying, I wanted to come and see you. I need to tell you, I'm sorry. I need to tell you so many things. This could be like, systems overload for her. But it says, stay calm, like breathe through it, experience the emotions, and maybe even, like reach for that good luck charm, or, something. Just know that her guides are around her, supporting her during like a moment of like intense emotional surge. In this fictional story, right? For this fictional character, it just says this could be a lot of energy coming at her to hear from this person, somebody where they want to say sorry. They maybe want to talk about feelings and emotions. This could be very unexpected. They want to talk about seeing her eyeball to eyeball. They want to talk. I mean, this is a lot coming at her at once. Do you love me? Do you have emotion for me still? Oh God, 8 of Wands. This is somebody who's like, they might be way more ready to dialogue with her than even she was ready to dialogue with them. Or she thought she was more ready, but now it's like everything is going so much faster than she'd expected. How does this dialogue begin? Are they reaching out to her, or is she reaching out to them? 9 of Pentacles sideways. I don't know, it's shared energy. I will say this, it's a good time for two people to talk. It's a good time for this to happen, even if it feels a little bit overwhelming, because it's like, it still feels a little unexpected, although they're both in a place where they, well, with the 10 of Wands, it's never been a better time for two people to actually, lay down burdens and have that heart-to-heart talk about how they feel about each other, about love, about I'm sorry, about, I want to see you, I want to be around you again. Like all of those emotions are there. And I think both of them are in a place where they could have this conversation. It could go really well. Nurturer of Cups is upright. Okay, so Nurturer of Cups, that's actually a Queen of Cups upright, but we have a masculine energy on it. I kind of feel like we have a divine masculine who they want to like draw her into their warmth and maybe convince her to either accept their apology, talk to them, let me come and see you. It feels like somebody's going to either be like almost pleading, like, can I please come see you? I need to come see you. I feel like he has traveled quite a distance to get to her. She might have been moving forward in life in some way, but it's as if, I don't know if she's going to hear from him in a very serendipitous moment, or she's going to need to pull over her car or something when she receives this message, because his message could be, I'm on my way to you. I got to see you. And that could be why we have her pulling over and outside of her car. That might be the protection energy. Like, don't, obviously don't text and drive. Obviously don't be distracted and drive, pay attention to the road, especially if there's going to be a surge of emotions. That might be the better way to read that, because I kept looking at it going, she's pulled over on the side of the road, and that card of protection was still like, it was turning in my mind again and again. So that's what we've got on that. So she's going to need to possibly just be mindful of her surroundings, because if a sudden conversation that's really important comes up out of nowhere, even if it's a good time for these two to talk, good time meaning like this chapter of their life is the right time. It doesn't mean that exactly when a text comes through, it'll be a convenient time. If she's driving, she's going to need to pull over first and then read the message. But there is this measure of like, be safe, especially with something that could be a surge of emotions. But I really feel like these two want to talk, and it's a very serious conversation coming. Very serious conversation. Okay, that's actually really beautiful. And it seems like it's a welcome conversation that doesn't seem, fearful or scary or ugly or anything. Okay, now let's go for the message for October the 3rd. What do we have for October the 3rd? I'm sorry I'm doing two in one. I just worry about what's going on with the internet. Will I have internet that's functional? Will it take another day to work it out? So I want us to stay on top of at least our today's topics and get us on track. We have homebody. Somebody might just want to stay home. It's funny because first we talk about two people like possibly traveling to like see each other, or somebody coming to travel to see her, and now we have a feminine possibly that's like, I'm gonna stay home like all freaking day on the 3rd. I need to be home. Okay, let's take a look. Why does our character seemingly need to be home? What is it that's going on? We've got Justice sideways. We have Six of Pentacles. It's either she needs to like get some balance in her life, or she needs to spend time with somebody. And so I could picture individuals like canceling other plans and staying put so that something more important can be addressed. Maybe this is one's own like personal mental health, or because it's the Six of Pentacles, it makes me think that, we have work to do in life, right? I mean, we all have work. We have work that we get paid for. We have work that we don't get paid for. The work of just grocery shopping, so we have food to eat, cooking food for ourselves, the housekeeping, there's a lot of things that we all have to do in life. But it says some of that work has to be done in the home. Now, the home can represent our own self, and we tidy up our own emotions and our mindset. But this says it's about working with another person. It's about coming into harmony with somebody who there's been great rifts with. It could be a lover. It could be somebody that she felt very wounded by. It could be a Libra, but she needs to be home and she needs to sit with this person and talk things out. Hanged Man in the reverse, Piscean energy. This says somebody might choose to not go out, or they might choose to take a day off work or something because they actually have to deal with something at home. This could be a relationship, a partnership, a conversation that has taken way too long to come to pass, but now is the right time. And it's like, okay, there's no more delays. We have a Knight of Wands. This could also be a day for passion. This could be a day for lovers to get things back on track with each other and just stay home and just make it all about the two of them, rekindling a romance. We have Ace of Cups. We have Four of Pentacles in the reverse. I am picturing we have characters staying like indoors and getting lost in one another and lost in one another's world for the purpose of love and reconnecting. This actually looks like, passion, desire, conversation, expression of emotions, not holding anything back, but they kind of need to just go and have this time where it's just the two of them. We have the Magician here. It did come out kind of in a reverse sideways position. It's Virgo Gemini. It's time to talk about really just the present, but be aware that like we do need to build more than this, but for just one day we need to be right here in these four walls, loving each other, getting things hashed out. This is a relationship that's really important. It's actually, for this fictional story, this relationship is more important than the other things in their life at the moment. This is like, I'm going to cancel, plans to go to the movies with friends because I need to be here with you. You and me, we have to get stuff on track with us. We need to just, I'm hearing Luke Bryant, strip it down, back to you and me, just back to who we used to be. It just feels like they need, Page of Swords, they need to both be present. It's not a day to think too much about the past, nor too much about the future, but more like, can we figure out how to get us back on track? This is about love. I mean, this is not that different a story from what we have on the 2nd exactly, but this is a more like expanded version where two people are just kind of cloistering themselves together so they can work on a relationship and rekindle a romance and hash out the things that were wrong and express emotions. And it's very private. It's just between two people. And it's like there's so much that we also need to learn about each other before we start talking about the future. There's so much that we need to do in the present before we can get to the future. But it's just a day to be present is what it says. Five of Cups sideways. I think that there's some cathartic cries. I think that two people need to talk a lot about like loyalty, about like how they really feel about each other, how much they've missed each other. This is very heartfelt. And it's like if two people don't get a chance to make space for their relationship, which right now is the number one priority on the third, personal relationships, a personal interaction is more important right now to get it sorted out and to get it ironed out and to reconnect and rekindle for these particular fictional characters. That's more important than almost anything, because that's the relationship of their heart space. It's nice to see that this could be a day where um, a couple that really loves each other gets their relationship back on track. So I really liked seeing that. All right, and then let's go ahead and pull 3 cards for someone whose birthday is on the 2nd. This is just kind of the collective, October 2nd birthday vibe. We have got the Strength card upright, we've got the Page of Pentacles, and we've got the Knight of Pentacles in the kind of like a tilted reverse position. This is a great, like, either start to a year where somebody does a timeline shift. They are ready to like powerfully embrace like new beginnings. This is somebody who's like, you know what? I'm really digging some of the stuff that I'm starting to give my energy to. I want to strengthen that resolve. I have a plan. I don't have to wonder what's going to happen, and I don't have to move goalposts, and I don't have to feel like I'm not able to achieve things. I'm allowed to either change what my goals are, even if I have goals that were unmet. Not all goals do we keep. Sometimes we change our mind on what we want, and that's okay. I just feel like we have a character who's really saying to themselves, I permit me to like honor whatever is the most powerfully attractive thing in my life right now. Whatever goal I really want to set for myself that I care about the most and I want to dedicate myself to, I'm allowed to make that a top priority. If I want to become the world's best knitter, I can do that. If I want to focus less on a career path and more on relationships right now, I'm allowed to do that. I don't have to guilt myself. It just feels like somebody is saying, my life path is made up of many different things. I'm allowed to acknowledge what I most want, at any given time to pursue. So I think this is a year where our character has strong convictions. All right, and now for someone whose birthday is on the 3rd of October, we have got a 9 of Swords, a 7 of Swords, a 4 of Swords, and a 3 of Cups. A lot of fears surrounding relationships, fears about truth or lies, fears about, can I trust what somebody says? That's all going to be resolved. We have good conversations coming. We have sometimes fears are just that. We worry people are lying, but it's just because we're afraid of getting hurt. We get stressed out, but so too does everybody else. And it just says that open dialogue and communication about fears is really going to clear the air. So we actually have like stronger connections forming because fears of like, are they lying to me? Can I trust them? Those fears are being vocalized, aired out, and then we're getting on track. So really nice to see. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.